have a huge earthquake going on. The tower is collapsing. I say again, the tower is falling apart. Hang on, everybody.
Big one, earthquake.
You don't have to go far to see damage with the Nisqually quake left over. We're in the Soto district, literally right across the street from CenturyLink Field. We've got Glenn Farley here, Mr. Scientist, and what are we looking at?
All right, so if we turn around here, we're looking at one of the signature scenes from Nisqually. And if you look up in that upper portion of that building, on the top story, you see the brick is not the same. That's the replacement brick. Imagine all of that brick that came out.
So wait, we're imagining here that these buildings are shaking and the top part of the brick is coming tumbling
like
down.
the upper 25 feet of that brick comes out. And you see that brick doesn't look the same.
So Glenn, now we're at the Cadillac Hotel. It seems like it's those buildings that were, you know, mainly made of brick that just kept
Well, you got two things. Oldest buildings in the city,
right?
What's called unreinforced masonry. So really, other than gravity and thick walls, there's really nothing to prevent them from coming apart or being damaged in the various forces of earthquakes, which can make the walls kind of fold in and out. The amazing thing is nobody was killed in this earthquake as a direct result of the shaking. It's been said that somebody died of a heart attack. That was it. Now, there were estimates of about 400 people injured. And this is one of the reasons, as you look at these old pictures, why you don't run outside during an earthquake. Because stuff breaks off of buildings and then lands on you, and it tends to be very heavy and very sharp.
Earthquake. Earthquake. That's a serious earthquake.
So the last spot you'll definitely notice signs of the Nisqually quake is the viaduct, which several people travel on every single day.
Right.
I guess some of the big things that you've seen change because of it is what?
So what was interesting about the Alaskan Way Viaduct is it wasn't immediately clear that there was damage. You know, we talked about these other buildings where there were bricks all over the street. That didn't happen here. But it was when it was inspected, and over the next couple of days, they realized that they had a problem. And then they started retrofitting it. All of that relates to Nisqually. But this is why they're building the tunnel.
All right, so that was the Nisqually quake, nowhere near what Glenn Farley says what's to come. And we always talk about here in the Pacific Northwest about this big one.
Right. So we have Dr. Lucy Jones, the author of The Big Ones. Thank you for being here.
Hey,
First
thanks for
of all,
having me. It's great to be up here.
Yeah, I know being prepared is really the key, right? So
yeah, it depends on what you mean by prepared, though. You know, when we say it, we tend to think about, oh, make sure you have water. Do you know how to drop, cover, hold on in the event? It's all focused on that moment of the event. Really preparing it, though, is thinking about it in a bigger time picture and realizing you can prevent the losses. If you're living in a brick building, why aren't you getting your brick building retrofitted so it won't kill you in the earthquake? And how we're going to be recovering. Those are as much a part of it as the moment at which the event happens.
You know, if you walk around the Seattle area, you'll notice that. I don't know if you kind of did a little tour, you'll see buildings, and I did that tour with Glenn Farley. He's like, you know, those big bars on the inside of the brick building, that's holding the thing together for the big one. So you're saying we need to do a lot more of that?
All of that is really important. We know which buildings kill people. That doesn't make the building disappear. And it's not just who's in that building. Think about if you're next to that building and it's badly damaged, you're not going to be allowed to use your own building during the aftershocks because it'll be too dangerous that it might further, because of further damage. So, you know, we leave the cost of retrofitting just to owners, but the cost of not retrofitting falls on all of us.
We have some video. I don't know if we can go to it real quick.
Okay.
This basically shows you this Cascadia subduction zone that we live in. This is what could take place if you see the ocean floor going underneath the North American plate. So, Dr. Lucy, tell me a little bit about your experience within your book. You were talking to people from the Japan quake in 2011. So what are we expecting here?
Okay, they had the same type of situation there in Japan. In 2011, they had a magnitude 9. There have been magnitude 9s here in the Pacific Northwest as well. The last one was in 1700, so a long time ago. When that happens, to be a magnitude 9, you have a really long fault, and it means that, you know, the whole state of Washington and Oregon are going to be right on top of the earthquake at the same time. The good news is your fault's offshore, so the intensity of the shaking here will not be as extreme as it might be. You know, when we run faults right through us in California, we get stronger shaking right on top of it. The bad news of being offshore is then it generates a tsunami. And so, you know, 15, 30 minutes after the event, that happened in Japan. It was an extraordinary experience for me to go and talk to women from that region who had lived a very constrained life. It's a very traditional part of Japan. The earthquake and tsunami destroys much of their communities. They've responded in such a positive way, starting nonprofits, starting businesses, helping their communities recover, and taking on new roles that really hadn't been part of their possible lives before then. So there can be a positive side to disasters, and that's what I try to talk about in the book.
Can we talk about your event tonight? Where are you? You are at Third Place Books?
Third Place Books in Lake Forest.
Okay, at 7
p.m., 7 o'clock. And I'll give a few examples of the stories of disasters. That's what I tried to do, is use the stories of what's happened in the past to help us understand what might be in our future.
Also want to tell everyone at home, you can text PREPARED, as with the D, prepared, and we will send you the link to all the information that we've been talking about. Also, you know, just the fascinating work that you do as a woman and a scientist. So
It's been an interesting time where when I was in grad school, I was the only woman. Now it's maybe, now it's more, it's probably about a third.
The STEM project
Cool.
helped with that. Now it's STEAM, right? Getting more people out in those fields. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good information, taking something terrible and trying to find the positive spin on it. Interesting book for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting a lot of text messages coming in. So you guys, if you have been texting, thank you so much. This is about Angela's deep dive, soccer and heading.
Oh, wow.
Kids using their heads to hit the ball during the soccer game. I don't know if you guys want to read a couple of these, but they're coming in left and right.
Yeah, the first one right off my own phone, it says, I feel like Cashman had a lot of headers when he was young. That one from 206. Thank you so much. I don't have that excuse. Take a look. A lot of people got a lot of reactions here. As long as heading is a part of the game, it's important for the older players, teens, and beyond that are competitive leagues. They got to develop and learn the skills to do it properly. Then right next to it, heading should be banned. Children and teens do not need to use it. And I'm seeing that theme here on a lot of these messages with people saying, is it bad? Probably a little bit, but is it a part of the game? Yes, and if we don't teach it and teach them the right way, then once they get to the competitive level,
What's the age threshold? What should it be? Any?
Well, I mean, scientifically they don't know, but right now the rules nationally and in our state, it's 10 and younger, no heading.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, there's some regulation.
Okay.
But yeah, they still have a lot they need to figure out. But there are a lot of players on here who are saying, you know what, if it's done correctly, it's fine. We just don't have the science to support it all yet.
Whoever texted about Cashman, that's a good call. You
hey, I can get that kind of abuse at home. I don't need that here on the
okay,
text
there's
message.
something we have to go.
All right, let's get to some other information, you guys. 75 outside right now. It was 76. We tied a record a little bit earlier today. Record tied. We were trying to see if it would break, but looks like 76 is going to be the official, so it looks like that will be what we have. And the rest of tonight's looking absolutely beautiful through the evening. T-shirt all the way till we get into dusk tonight. All right, so that is a look at your forecast real quick. It's a beautiful afternoon. It's a beautiful evening tonight. Speaking of beautiful, we talk Kardashians. Talk about a weird transition, I know. One of them was on Capitol Hill talking cosmetics. If anybody in your home wears makeup, you want to hear this. It's coming up next.